today we are going to be making a royal recipe, keto friendly. I've been watching The Crown a lot, binging it on Netflix, and I'm absolutely obsessed with that show. It's beautiful. And so I was researching Princess Diana and the things that she liked to eat, and I came across this bread pudding. And Sarah and I have attempted a keto bread pudding before on this channel, but I'm still traumatized from that experience because Sarah tricked me and it was made out of eggplants, and I did not like it. And honestly, I don't even think I've had bread pudding before or since. And so today I'm really excited to make Princess Diana's favorite dessert keto friendly. So as I was perusing through this recipe, I noticed that they use raisins, which are not keto at all. And I actually don't like raisins anyway, so I was happy to sub them out. We purchased some dried cranberries that have no additional sugar, and we're just going to be sprinkling them on. In this recipe, Diana's chef, he hydrates the raisins with amaretto, and we are not going to be using amaretto obviously in this recipe. So these cranberries have been sitting in about a tablespoon of almond extract and a couple tablespoons of water, and they're plumped up. They smell really good. So I preheated our oven to 350 degrees, and then I took some butter at room temperature and greased our baking dish. They used a rectangular baking dish for this recipe, but we only have a circular one, so that's what we're going to be using. We painstakingly separated out 9 egg yolks from the egg whites. You could save those egg whites to make chaffles too, so that's what we're going to be doing with them. We are going to be buttering each slice of this bread, and then we are going to be cutting the crusts off. So these pieces of Sola Bread are definitely smaller than their white bread counterparts, and so I didn't want to do it all at once because I feared that I was going to be cutting off a lot. So I'm just going to be doing it each piece at a time. They might not be symmetrically perfect. So here we have our bread. All the crusts are off and it's fully buttered thoroughly. We're gonna put this aside while we work on the next step. Now we're gonna be working on the custardy part of our pudding. We have 9 egg yolks here, and we are going to be using allulose in this recipe. This is 5 ounces of allulose, and it is about 70% as sweet as sugar, so I have adjusted it to add a little bit more to this recipe. Allulose caramelizes like real sugar, and because this is kind of like a creme brulee bread pudding, we need to use allulose for this recipe. We can link the one that we use in the description below. We really like allulose as a keto-friendly sweetener. So our eggs and 5 ounces of allulose have been thoroughly combined. They're set aside now. We are going to simmer 12 ounces of heavy cream and 5 ounces of almond milk in a pan. We could not get vanilla beans in time for this recipe, so we are going to be adding vanilla extract. I have 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract that I'm going to be adding into our cream almond milk mixture. While we were bringing up our milk mixture to a simmer, which I looked, and that's about 185 to 200 degrees, we are going to be cutting up cubes from 3 of the slices of buttered bread. And we're going to be lining the bottom of our baking dish with these 1-inch cubes.
Is it supposed to like completely line it?
Well, it's a circle and these are squares, so it's kind of like playing Tetris. I don't think it's going to completely line it, but it should be enough. Get in there.
Tetris is always stressful for me.
Now that we've lined the bottom of our baking dish, we are going to be lightly coating the top with a couple tablespoons of cranberries. Obviously, you don't want to overdo this, but this is just to have it have that authentic feel because we're not going to be using raisins. It doesn't look like much right now, but give it a second. We're going to be arranging our triangles now on top to form a intricate pattern.
Like that? Yeah, sure.
Looks all spiky and weird.
Yeah. You want those peaks. That's what's going to get nice and brown, and I like it. You do? I'm trying to be encouraging.
It's more of like a futuristic...
a modern bread pudding.
Present your project to the class.
It's more modern than Princess Diana would have liked, but I like it, and so we're gonna go with it. We've just made little, like a organic shape to it. So this is the part I'm scared about because you have to combine the hot cream or the simmered cream to the egg yolks without making it into scrambled eggs. We're gonna do that now. We're going to slowly pour the cream mixture into the egg yolks while whisking it so that it combines. I checked the temperature and it's about 185 degrees.
Tempering the eggs, maybe? That's how it's done. We do not have scrambled eggs. There you go. Okay, so now it's time to pour the custard over our bread to make bread pudding. You're gonna wanna let it sit on the counter for 20 minutes so everything fully absorbs and becomes one. So it's been 20 minutes. It looks fully absorbed. It looks really, really good, actually. I'm thinking about the last time that we made the eggplant bread pudding, and I'm much more hopeful about this so far. Okay, so we are putting this in a roasting pan because we are going to be putting this in a water bath. And so let's put this in the oven, and then I'm going to pour some water into it. So the original recipe did say to cook this for 30 minutes. Some of the comments though on that recipe said that they needed to cook it a bit longer at 40 minutes. So we're gonna check it at 40 minutes and see how far we've come. So a little snafu. So they used a very shallow baking dish in that recipe. And this is a very deep dish. Is that the word? To account for that, we had to adjust the time. So instead of 30 minutes, we were gonna go 40 minutes, but when we checked it at 40 minutes, it was not even close to being done. So we decided to leave it in for an additional 20 minutes. And then we're gonna take it out and we're going to finish this recipe. Mama! Ooh, well, it looks pretty. I'm really hopeful right now. It's looking really nice. I'm really enjoying my geometric pattern on the top. That was totally intentional. Oh, it looks solid. I'm extremely pleased right now. So we have about 1 ounce of allulose here, and we're going to sprinkle this all over the top and cover it, and then we're going to stick it under the broiler and brulee it. We did do a video about a keto creme brulee hack with a torch, and I'm still not over doing that, so I won't be using the torch for this video for my safety and for the safety of those around me. Now I'm just going to be finishing off our dish. We're going to top this with some sliced almonds. We're going to let it cool down so that we can serve it. We're gonna plate this up with some whipped cream and some berries, and then we're going to go fly to England to try it. So The Crown, a really great show on Netflix, was filmed entirely with CGI. So I figured if they can do it, why can't we? So either you're seeing us sitting in Buckingham Palace right now, or we're just sitting in Chicago in a basement in front of a green bed sheet. Anyway, here's our pudding. In England, they call all dessert pudding. A little bit of berries, a little bit of whipped cream. Sarah's whipped cream is gone. It definitely tastes like a custard, become nice and creamy, which I really like. I like bread pudding. Emily's never really eaten bread pudding before, so I'm liking it. It's better than the eggplant version. Well, that's not saying much. Oh. I don't find it to be overly sweet. Since we've been living a ketogenic lifestyle for the last 3 years, we don't really have the tolerance for super sweet things anymore, but I really like this. Now, the recipe makes like 8 servings. I can't really taste the cranberries in this recipe, or the almond. Yeah. I don't think that it was like worth it to add them. Funny story, when we were like teenagers, Sarah was watching a lot of like British television. She came downstairs and told my mother that she had a British accent and that she couldn't stop talking that way. And my mom was like, just stop. And you said, I can't. That's a true story, guys. I could not remember how to not speak with a British accent. I was freaking out about it. And I read that that actually can happen to people. Really? I obviously went away because I don't have an accent now. And I'm actually horrible at accents, so I'm pretty sure it did not sound like an English accent. I can't! This was Princess Diana's favorite pudding, and I can see why. It is about 1,000 times better than the eggplant bread pudding that Sarah made me eat in 2020. Luckily now, I think that that has finally left me, and I think I can enjoy future bread puddings after this. So I'm very happy. And if you guys want to watch other videos by us, you can click on one of the videos on the screen and we'll see you over there. Anyway, I'm Sarah. And I'm Emily. And we are the Keto Twins, signing out from England. Or not. For England. For England. For Queen and Country. For honor.